Welcome back, folks. I got back from my Michigan trip, and I am gonna let you guys in on what I use up there to be successful. What rods, reels, the line, the bait, different things. So starting out with the rod, I use it. My favorites are the Finvex for the salmon. This is an HMX 9'6" medium, moderate, fast action with a Fluger President reel. I believe this is the 40 size, and this particular rod and reel setup comes. I put on 14-pound line because the water was very clear and low. So the lower the water, the lighter the line you gotta go. And what I would do to keep my weight stationary, most guys make let the weight slide. So I would use a snap swivel, and I would just tie my main line onto the barrel swivel. Once you get it tied on, it should look something like this. That way, this side is free for the leader. And then what you do is you snap your weight on. In this particular time, we were using a lot of the 3/8 ounce. And then I would tie on 12-pound fluorocarbon during the day onto this and the swivel, the length of the rod. I would use 12-pound fluorocarbon during the day when the sun was high, and if there was cloud cover, I would bump it up to 15 or 17-pound fluorocarbon. I would use fluorocarbon over mono because fluorocarbon sinks, and it will help keep your lures closer to the salmon instead of floating around in the current. I don't know how well you can see, but I got my weight tied on, and then I got my leader, and it comes way down to the butt of my rod. And now we're gonna tie on lure. And now what I would typically use, let me show you. Yeah, I bought myself a little double-sided box to put everything in it that I need. Out there, you could tie on flies from the local shops. They sell them. You could use different flies. Salmon like the blacks and the purples. Or what I did quite often, whenever I would run out of my flies, is I would use soft beads. And I would make a bunch of these like this, put them on a hook, tie it on. I would pre-make them so that way I have them ready for when I go, because you will break off quite a bit, hitting the bottom, getting stuck. There's a bunch of rocks out there and a bunch of line. So one way you could fish it is like this. Or sometimes if this wouldn't be working, I would pull them up onto the line and let them rest right above the knot like that. And then your hook is underneath exposed, as you can see like this. Either way worked. My favorite was with the beads on the hook. I would use 2 or 3. It just kind of depended on what the salmon would react to. Even a better way is to get flies locally out there at the bait shops, and those work phenomenal. So as for the technique, what you would do is you would cast out there. You try to hit like whatever you could see, the deeper pockets kind of. You cast out there, and you don't cast straight. You cast at about 11 o'clock. Let it sink, so that way it'll be hitting bottom right in front of you. And then you feel the rocks ticking. You can feel the weight ticking the rocks as it goes down the river. And then after a few casts, you'll kind of get used to what the bottom feels like. And then whenever you feel something odd, something different, sometimes they'll hit like insanely hard. Sometimes all you'll feel is just a change in the ticking. Like you would feel the hard rocks, and then it'll suddenly go soft, and that's also fish. A lot of people miss the fish because they don't identify the rocks versus what the fish feels like, and that's where a good sensitive rod really helps out. That's why I like these Fenwicks. And during the night, I would use similar setup, except I would shorten my leader, and I would use a casting rod with 20-pound line and 20-pound leader, a fluorocarbon leader, and it would be the same technique. There are two other techniques that I use personally, and I had great success with, is throw in a spinner such as this, size 5, or throw in thunder sticks, as you see this one up here. I would either use this one or in a fire tiger, but you got to make sure it's got the deeper bill on it. And these, let me tell you, are insane, especially during the daytime whenever the salmon aren't running as much as they are at night. At night they move a lot more. So what would happen is they would get really mad at the spinners and at the thunder sticks, or the storm makes these. They would get really mad at the thunder sticks, and they would hit the fire out of them. I've lost quite a bit due to fish ripping off, and my favorite line would be 20-pound mono. Why mono is because with mono you won't pull the hooks as fast as you would with braid. There were also guys that used skein, that's salmon eggs, cured salmon eggs under a float. I did not have the luxury of having that bait. I used a lot of thunder sticks, I used a lot of spinners, and floating different beads and flies. I hope this helps. I hope you guys enjoy it. Leave me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. God bless.